According to a new study, workplace dating has increased. So I talked about this on ABC 7 at 7 with professional matchmaker Kelly Numair from It's Just Lunch, San Francisco.
It really makes sense. During the pandemic, some of the only people that we spent time with were our coworkers on Zoom calls. And we were able to really bond with them in a very vulnerable time and uncertain time. So we really got to find out who our coworkers really were. We got to lean on them. Therefore, it took a massive spike. In fact, a recent study shows that a third of the US workforce has either been in or still in a workplace relationship.
Oh, well, that's interesting. How do you think, okay, so it's one thing to have this relationship over Zoom during the pandemic, but we see more people coming back to work, either full-time or hybrid. How does that change up the dynamic? And is there certain things that people need to keep in mind if they're in that situation?
Yeah, there's a few things that you definitely want to keep in mind when you are in a workplace romance. You want to do a few things. You want to know the rules, right? Things have definitely changed over the years, and it's very important to be clear on what the rules of your workplace is. If you are unclear, check with your HR department or read your manual. They may be written or unwritten rules. And then you definitely want to keep things professional, right? You want to avoid public displays of affection and keep it a little bit more classy. Be the best version of yourself, and don't let this relationship take you away from your goals professionally, and stay true to who you are. You also want to set some boundaries in this relationship. Keep your professional relationship with your coworkers and your team professional, and your romantic relationship romantic. So I would definitely have that conversation with your partner on how you guys are going to handle that.
Yeah, I wonder, because say you go through the rules and you find out, okay, it's okay for us to be in this relationship. Do you tell like your colleagues at work? Do you keep it private and maybe they can guess? Or how do you navigate that part? Do you just come out with it?
So, some companies really require you to be upfront about a work relationship to mitigate any legal issues. So again, check with your HR department about that. And then I recommend being very truthful about the relationship and keeping it more on the down low. You don't want your professionalism called into question. You don't want your coworkers to judge you based on this relationship. As a professional matchmaker, I say keep it, a little bit more private. You want to draw the line in the sand, and you want to have that balance in your relationship.
I like that. Kelly, so we talked about some of the downfalls or pitfalls that you mentioned there with maybe how people view you professionally, but what are some of the perks of having an office relationship?
Some of the perks of having an office relationship is that we do get to spend more time with our partner. We get to see them in a professional environment, and then we also get to see them outside. I actually met my husband at work because we spend way more time with our coworkers than we do anybody else, right? So it definitely makes sense. And you get to see them under pressure. You get to see them work through different scenarios, different situations, how they handle stress. And sometimes, depending on who the person is, it can be kind of attractive in how they handle stress in a relationship, whether it's work or personal.
And y'all are still happy and thriving, so this is good.
20 years later.
Okay, Kelly. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I'm sure that'll be inspiring for people who may be thinking about it or in it right now. I mean, of course, it's just good to know how to navigate it so you can be successful. So thank you for helping us with this.
Yeah, definitely. Just again, keep in mind, keep that balance. There's a fine line. You want to make sure that you are handling it the best way that you can, have the conversation, keep the communication going.
Awesome. Kelly, thank you so much. And congratulations to you and your husband.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.